Good evening. This is Maestro with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite podcast. Today, we have a 2v2 on Ashes of Typhon. Our first player is going to be C.Maker, playing as the Space Marine Apothecary. This is a healing commander with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration aura. Next up, his teammate is going to be Angry SNEK. Can't find him, though. Going to be playing as the Force Commander, tanky melee hero with Battlecry, allowing for disruption and buffing. Their opponents, we're going to start off with Gordian. He will be playing as the Plague Champion. This is a Chaos ranged hero. Can switch to melee weapons, can also heal and repair. And finally, it'll be Mixu, playing as the Lictor Alpha, an infiltrating melee assassin with strong displacement. So, wow, we've got a 2v2. How quaint. It feels like it's actually been such a long time since I've had a 2v2. It's actually kind of surprising to me how uncommon it is these days outside of the 2v2 monthly team tournaments, but here we are. So, we are going to see Chaos Space Marines, rather, actually that's Tactical Marines, in a just straight-up range duel against the Plague Champion. Plague Champion seems to be slightly losing this, but he can always just, of course, retreat back a little bit. Not retreat, but actually just move back, so he can stop taking damage and start just tanking more damage or repairing. I can't speak anymore. Restoring his health, which is what I ultimately meant to say. So cover-to-cover fight. Chaos Space Marines choosing to be aggressive, though. They don't want to make this a cover-to-cover fight anymore. Plague Champion, though, was the one who was being targeted there, and the Chaos Space Marines decided they'll pull back if they don't have the support of the Plague Champion. This does also mean, with the aggression from C.Maker, that the Heretics will now be under threat, so they might need to move back soon. Actually, yeah, they're being targeted just ever so slightly, and that is the play. Double Chaos Space Marines out on the field now for Gordian, allowing him to put a lot more focus fire on this Apothecary, and we see he needs to pull back now. Oh man, talking about pulling back. Someone didn't pull back early enough, and Angry SNEK is going to lose a whole scout squad there to, I mean, how did he? I guess it probably can have something to do with that Lictor Alpha, more so than just the double Termagants. Double Termagants with no upgrades, really not that powerful, but they were able to finish off that scout squad in retreat. We're going to see an Eternal War upgrade come in for both of these Chaos Space Marines. One of these Chaos Space Marines getting to the point, okay, model is lost, Devastator Marines are going to be set up. This is looking like a lost fight for Gordian. Or at the very least, he's going to have to pull back a little bit without retreating now that the Devastator Marine squad is set up. He does not have a great answer to the Devastators at the moment, but these tacks staying in there a little unnecessarily long, get down to such low health, and do lose a model. Meanwhile, Mixu is going to move into the middle, move his Termagants over there to just obviously start getting the contested victory point. It's C.Maker and Angry SNEK who do have the victory point lead at this time. And Angry SNEK is going to try to do something about that by capturing the contested victory point, while Mixu is looking for this flank. This flank, though, okay, the Hormagaunts do get into melee with the Devastator Marines. That will be the Devastator Marines in retreat. Shotgun Blast finally does go down, but I don't know, without like a tactical Marine squad here, I don't think this is an engagement that C.Maker wins. Just too much pressure is coming from the double Termagants. And, of course, we also have the continued pressure from Gordian going to use that Flesh Hook to get a kill on the Apothecary. And that is, the Flesh Hook is just such a powerful ability against enemy commanders. One of the, probably, well, maybe, it's definitely one of the most powerful things that the Lictor Alpha brings to the table. And we saw just how powerful it is there. Any commander who is not immune to weapon knockback has to be extremely careful when playing against the Lictor Alpha, because there is the possibility that just any Flesh Hook can result in your commander being killed. And let's take a look at the red. Alright, C.Maker isn't too far off from being able to use Laraman's Blessing if he needs to. Perhaps more ideally at this point, we should probably just see Angry SNEK come over, look for a revive, since the position of this Apothecary is basically revives in team games. If your commander died at a spot that is not past the halfway point, then it's definitely more ideal to have your teammate just revive you in most cases. If you die past the halfway point, then it becomes a lot more difficult for your teammate to revive you. So, and we can even, actually have a pretty easy line of scrimmage between, like, these victory points, basically. So it's like, past the victory points, it's probably going to be a buyback, but if they're not past the victory points, should be a revive by your teammate. War gear upgrades coming in from our players. We got the Power Sword out of the Force Commander. Power Sword out of the Force Commander is honestly always an interesting one. I do feel that it is not particularly common. In fact, in this day and age, I would say that this is actually the least common weapon upgrade for the Force Commander. Since it's a Tier 1 weapon upgrade, which means in terms of damage, it's almost always... In general, Tier 1 weapon upgrades are almost always going to be outclassed by Tier 2 weapon upgrades in terms of raw damage. So then it's more just a question of what utility does the Tier 1 weapon upgrade bring? In this case, we're getting some more buffing. Just slightly stronger buffing out of the battle cry. Might also want to be able to duel that Lictor Alpha just a little bit better. Devastator Marine's going to be able to reset up, and these Hormigons not getting into melee. But the Raveners could be here. The Raveners, I think, still could win this engagement, but there actually isn't enough Termagant and Hormigon support. Meanwhile, on this side, it's looking like a pretty one engagement for Gordian Vorenthul, but he's going to have to back up. He's certainly forced off some units, but he's going to have to back off from the Devastator Marine squad. Probably looking for a Blight Grenade here, moving the Plague Champion this close, but he does have to be careful. If anything, I think it's a little bit of a misplay to not target the Plague Champion with the Devastator Marine squad. Could have actually threatened to kill the Plague Champion with him getting that close. Tactical Marine drop pod, unfortunately not very timely here. Dropping them when they're outnumbered. They actually got close to really losing a model there. All right, Gordian Vorenthul going to be looking for a Generator Bash with that engagement win. Raptors, however, are ready to jump on the Double Chaos Space Marines and Double Chaos Space Marines. Now, the interesting thing, though, is Double Chaos Space Marines right here, if they were at full health, they actually possibly could have just toughed it out and committed to the melee fight against the Assault Marines. However, since they didn't have full health, in particular the half-health squad, very much at risk for losing not just one, but two models, so he did just retreat out of there. Didn't get too much of a Generator Bash at all, actually. And we do see upgrades on this Plague Champion, Plague Sword, and Blight Grenades. Kind of an interesting upgrade path. Blight Grenades, in particular, does seem a little bit strange against Space Marines. Not going to be as high value there against a race that is a little bit squishier. But we did see that he's trying to use it to kind of dislodge the Devastator Marines. Shotgun Scouts, meanwhile, in melee with the Raveners. Not a fight that they're going to win. Force Commander still here, though, using those Battlecry specials with that Power Sword. And he's still here. It does get stopped by the Crippling Poison. If anything, I don't know if he had to leave just yet. I feel like he could have killed a few heretics. All right, meanwhile, some Raptors going to go around to the side, get a requisition point. C.Maker still holding control of this victory point. And of course, on this map, we don't quite have, we don't quite have natural victory points. All three are pretty much contested, so it's more of a bottom, or man, it's like diagonal. So I don't know whether to call this one the top victory point or the right victory point. It's kind of both. And this is a pretty slow moment in time. Gordian Vorenthul, man, big Tier 1 build, especially for Chaos. And he is getting late. He is going to be late to Tier 2. In fact, both of our red team players can be late to Tier 2. But our... Did I say our blue team? Our red team player is late to Tier 2. But our blue team player is not actually doing anything to really punish that. All right, Assault Marines moving in. No, it's not too much happening here, but what is happening on this side of the map? Grenade is thrown and a lot of damage put onto the Hormigons, so they will have to get off the field. All right, Force Commander looking to get into combat, but the Devastator Marines and the Tax are already having to contend with the Lictor Alpha. This is looking pretty good for Mixu. Force Commander is already too low to contribute into this engagement. Although we've still got 3 squads that haven't retreated yet for Angry SNEK, basically all of his squads, yeah, eventually they're going to have to. He's going to lose the Scout Squad. That's another Scout Squad that he has lost. Unfortunately, there are many ways in which the Lictor Alpha can be very oppressive, and unfortunately, I think Angry SNEK is feeling that a lot, and I think he's having a lot of trouble dealing with that Lictor Alpha. Lictor Alpha can be a very, very difficult commander if you don't know how to deal with him. Blight Grenade's going to be thrown in retreat, will hit the scouts, but I don't think a model will be killed from that. We'll see. It's actually still kind of close, but they make it into base, so I don't... They'll actually spread it to the rest of his units. It's kind of funny, but still no kills. So, yeah, we're seeing Blight Grenades not proving to be particularly effective against the Space Marines, not even with successful grenades landed on retreat. Alright, so it's soon to be a triple cap in favor of Gordian, Voronthul, and Mixu, and they're already ahead in terms of victory points, 412 to 276. But we've got double Dreadnoughts out on the field for C.Maker and Angry SNEK, so kind of waiting a while for the extra resources to get out the most expensive Tier 2 unit. And we're definitely going to have to see what our red team players are going to do about that. We do have a Havoc out on the field. Las Cannon has already been put on it, so that's kind of the answer. It's the only answer on this for Gordian Voronthul, though, which is kind of why going for this particular composition is a little bit of a liability. We have 5 squads here who can do absolutely nothing to vehicles at the moment. Raptors later on can get melt-a-guns, but that will definitely be a little bit later. Meanwhile, Raptors here jumping in, but they jump right into the Devastator Marine. Well, no, the firing arc of the Devastator Marine squad. Oh man! But here is the Zoanthrope laying down some damage. Plague Cloud actually threatening to wipe that squad, and so are the Khorne Marines. Khorne Marines going in pretty deep. They're pretty low on hit points, and they don't decide to continue their chase against the Devastators. And actually, the Khorne Marines themselves getting really, really close to dying. Assault Marines jumping in. Assault Marines looking for the kill on the Khorne Marines, but they won't get it. Maybe they will. Oh, Khorne Marines are actually... Wow. Gordian Voronthul, I just realized he lost both squads of Chaos Space Marines. Big losses in that engagement. I'm guessing it might have had something to do with this Dreadnought, which, I mean, he had double Chaos Space Marines. I didn't even see what the other one was upgraded to. This might lose the Plague Champion as well. Indeed, he does. Sync kill from the Apothecary. Pretty cool sync kill where he finishes him off with the Plasma Pistol. So a lot happening there. Gordian Voronthul suffering some pretty big losses, which, I mean, the blue team kind of needed that to start coming back into this game. But for the moment, let's see, it is a double cap for the blue team. Don't think they'll be able to hold on to this victory point for very long, but I think Angry SNEK will, of course, move over to the middle victory point. And most likely, although, yeah, I think there will be a brief time. No, actually... This will mostly just be the blue team maintaining the double cap. Alright, meanwhile, Mixu will get a revive on the Plague Champion. That will put Mixu at level 3. He's got 1 upgrade. He's got the Lone Hunter. Now, I recently saw in a live stream just how effective this Lone Hunter upgrade can be. More so in 1v1, though. In 2v2, I think it's going to be a little bit harder to get value out of this war gear. It makes the Lictor Alpha do 50% more damage, which is a bonkers statistic, and take 25% less damage. But in order for this to happen, he needs to not be in range of any allied unit, so he needs to be all by himself. That's why it's called the Lone Hunter. We'll see if he can get some value out of that. Plasma Cannon shot missing. Pretty fortunate for Mixu with all of these Termagants and Hormagaunts also bunched up. That shot also missing. Meanwhile, Assault Cannon Barrage not quite missing and definitely doing quite a number on all these Heretics right here. Heretics are going to have to go. The Dreadnought is actually dead. Because there's a double Venom Brood right here. So Dreadnought dead for Angry SNEK. Oh no! And Raptor's dead for Gordian Voronthul. Losses coming all around. Another Plasma Cannon shot goes in. Only hits the Raveners, and the Assault Marines will jump in as well. Assault Marines need to watch out for that Plasma Cannon shot, though. Okay, Plasma is out of range. And this will be a 1 engagement for C.Maker and Angry SNEK. Force Commander should be picked up any second now. And will we see someone... Okay, Devastator Marines are actually just holding the... They're making sure that no one captures the left victory point. So we won't see them go capturing the middle victory point. Instead, it's going to be this squad of tactical marines here, level 1, upgraded with a plasma gun. At this point, level 1, I almost feel like maybe we should have made those Stern Guard veterans. But we're going to have the Stern Guard veteran squad over here, and this will be the one. This is for Angry SNEK. So yeah, he actually just got a full-on new tactical marine squad. Didn't want to give up the experience that this one had gotten, even though it's not even yet to level 2. But certainly closer than his fresh tactical marine squad, going for the double tax and upgrading one to Stern Guards. Yeah, the Stern Guards, Stern Guards, certainly against the Tyranids, they're the way to go. And as actually with what Gordian Vorenthul has right now, no Chaos Space Marines, double Heretics, and a Plague Champion, yeah, Stern Guards are absolutely the way to go. All right, triple gap for the blue team, but we've got a Predator out on the field for Gordian Vorenthul. It's going to be a Corn Predator, rather interestingly. I don't feel the Corn Predator is particularly common these days. Certainly in the current patch, for anti-infantry purposes, the Nurgle Predator is definitely favored at the moment. And then Las Cannon Predator, I think, is just... I think basically the Predator meta for Chaos mostly comes down to the Nurgle Predator and the Las Cannon Predator. And I think it actually defaults to the Nurgle Predator. So it's basically if you want anti-infantry damage, you're going for the Nurgle Predator, and you don't just get it for the anti-infantry damage. You basically get it for the tankiness and the staying power. And then the Las Cannon Predator is just what you get if you want the hard anti-vehicle response. So Gordian Vorenthul actually choosing the Corn. So this still does give plenty of anti-infantry damage since it increases the heavy bolter damage by 75%. Also does increase the autocannon damage. It's just that you need repair support for it. You need to make sure you micro it around, man. Those syllables and those letters just not coming out correctly. Because it's only ever going to have 700 health until it does level up. So it's just something that's going to be a little bit harder to keep alive than a Nurgle Predator. Meanwhile, talking about keeping something alive, this Dreadnought in trouble, but I think it's out of the Las Cannon range. Venom Brood, in fact, double Venom Brood targeting it, but Venom Brood now about to be in trouble. Las Cannon Devastator, meanwhile, pulled in. Assault Marines in here as well, but Assault Marines are at half health. And the Dreadnought eventually does go down. Meanwhile, second Predator is on the way. No mark on this one yet, which is understandable. He wants to just make sure he brings it into the fight because there is a fight happening right now, and he wants to use that Predator to help him win that fight. Both Predators at the moment are relatively uncontested. I guess the biggest thing that they have to deal with is the Stern Guard veteran chasing after them. This one Predator, though, is so low in hit points that it does really need to be careful. The repair support isn't there for it, and the Melt-A-Bomb could come out from the Assault Marines any time now, and this is now actually a big problem for Gordian Vorenthul, and he does indeed lose that entire Predator. I don't know why I said entire. It's not like you can lose half of a Predator. This Predator also needs to be very, very careful. All right, Force Commander is taken down, though, and that must have been... that was a Las Cannon shot from here. So both Predators down for Gordian Vorenthul. Now it's C.Maker who's going to come out with a Predator of his own. So double cap for the blue team, 189 to 173. Plasma Cannon Devastator shooting the wall. Meanwhile, Heretic's going to get in melee with that Las Cannon. Las Cannon has no choice but to just retreat out of there, taking a whole bunch of damage. All right, still a double cap for the blue team. They're about to take one victory point back, but the red team themselves, they're not even going to get this victory point. They'll get the decap, but then the Heretics need to go. This is, blue team really coming back into this game after having a pretty rough early start. Angry SNEK in particular, losing too many units. Hopefully he doesn't use this Stern Guard veteran squad. All right, he won't lose any of those squads. Las Cannon Devastator set up, but doesn't really have a realistic target. So there's not a whole lot it should be doing here. Yeah, there's not a whole lot for the Las Cannon Devastator for Angry SNEK to do at the moment. Bloodletters now out on the field for Gordian Vorenthul.
The enemy has 100 points remaining.
Heretics, they'll get the decap, but now they need to be moved off. They will actually, like, if they're just left there, they will eventually be wiped by the Predator. Predator does get another kill, also picks up some experience for itself. And the victory points continuing to be in favor of the blue team. Predator from C.Maker does have extra armor, but no las cannon, which I think is the correct play at this time. He's got plenty of anti-infantry to deal with. Las cannon Devastator does get a heal, so that jump in by the Bloodletters really does almost nothing. I mean, at most it draws out the cooldown, the heal cooldown for the Apothecary, but there's no follow-up to actually like make that impactful at all. Meanwhile, man, this is interesting. Just a pair of Lictors hanging out here. Here we got the Lictor Alpha and the Tier 3 Lictor, not in the unit tab. Oh, they're going to go for it now. They're going in. This is actually so... They activate and they shall know no fear, but then they immediately retreat upon getting knocked down. Oh, man, how many... Wow, only one model goes down there. That's actually pretty lucky for Angry SNEK. But that was a pretty entertaining ambush out of Mixu, using both the Tier 3 Lictor as well as the Lictor Alpha. This is actually pretty scary. Meanwhile, Noxious Cloud going to be doing some damage to the Devastator Marine Squad, but a heal will just go in on them. So they'll probably lose at least one model. No. He actually doesn't even keep the Noxious Cloud on the Devastator Marines. If he had kept it on them just a little bit longer, I think he might have gotten one model. But some nice uses out of the heals from C.Maker. He's had some of the most timely heals that I've ever seen, to be honest. All right, so this is Mixu looking for an engage, but the Predator is here. There's certainly actually plenty of damage against the Predator with the Venom Brood, so it's more just what can C.Maker and Angry SNEK do to disrupt the Venom Brood. We do have one that's already in a huge amount of trouble. Did get hit by a nice big plasma cannon shot. However, Focused Warp Blast was used from the Termagants, not the Termagants, the Zoanthrope to snare the Predator, but eventually it is a one engagement in favor of the blue team. And this Tyranid Blob is forced off. All right, Mixu and Gordian Vorenthul, they will find themselves a double cap. Bottom victory point about to be retaken. Tyranna formation coming out right here, targeting the Devastator Marines, but not proving to be particularly impactful. Unfortunately, that Tyranna formation always, it's incredibly hard to have a super impactful Tyranna formation. I mean, there was some disruption on those las cannon Devastators, which actually las cannon Devastators, oh, there is now a new Predator for Gordian Vorenthul, and he's going for the las cannon this time, or Mark of Tzeentch. Does need that to contend with the Predator from C.Maker, and if he can keep it a secret until he can have his Predator target C.Makers, then it will have a distinct advantage over C.Makers, even with the health disadvantage. But, oh man, I just realized not a whole lot of time for Gordian Vorenthul and Mixu to do something. They've got to move out, and they've got to move out fast. Meanwhile, Bloodletters in base, man, they don't have much health to work with. Neither does that las cannon. This is looking rough. Okay, we do have Tier 3 Lictor coming out for that decap. I think the combination... Okay, that is a decap there. And I think they'll actually just get a full cap on this side, which they need very, very badly at this time. But they are winning the engagement in the middle. They just have to be cautious about the Force Commander with all the damage that he's going to put out. There's certainly a lot of focus fire on him, but don't want to accidentally lose the Tier 3 Lictor. Instead, it might be the Force Commander who is now in trouble. No, the Vanguard Veterans are in here as well, so the Lictors will go after the Vanguard Veterans. Plasma Cannon shots laying in, and now we've also got a Carnifex. This is a completely unupgraded Carnifex. Meanwhile, on this side, we are going to have the las cannon Predator moving in as the Bloodletters look to capture the point. It's 18 victory points left for the red team. Meanwhile, Mixu is being forced off over here. Certainly his infantry army, which means even if the Carnifex can somehow win against all of this, which he actually can because there's not a whole lot of anti-vehicle damage against him, but he won't be able to capture the point. So, it is a double cap for the red team though, so they are staying alive for the moment. And the Vanguard Veterans now actually in a huge amount of trouble. Are we going to see another timely heal out of them? No, we'll just see an assault leap away while the Carnifex is still targeting this Apothecary. does not finish off the Apothecary. It was really, really close. Sternguard veterans in melee with the Hormigons. Do they have and they shall know no fear? They don't, at least not yet. And they will. Oh, man, they're losing 2 models. Make it 3. Still the double cap for Gordian, Vorenthul, and Mixu as they move in here. Assault Terminators, though, looking for the kill against the Chaos Predator. Bloodletters, however, 2 squads of Bloodletters here will actually do a massive amount of damage to these Terminators, and soon we should see some crippling poison out of the Termagants. All right, Terminators realize that this is not a fight that they're going to win. They're trying to back off. Do they have a teleport? No, they don't have a teleport because they must have used it aggressively to chase after the Predator, which is why we saw that Gate of Infinity come out from C.Maker's Librarian. Even helping out his... That wasn't even his Terminators. It was helping out Angry SNEK there. Ooh, soon to be a triple cap for Gordian, Vorenthul, and Mixu, and now it's C.Maker and Angry SNEK who are really out of time. They've got to make something happen fast. C.Maker has to use Laraman's Blessing. Okay, he does do it. I was going to say... unfortunately for him, like, C.Maker also should have been using, like, an orbital bombardment in some of those engagements. I'm not even sure if they have enough time to get out of there. Should have been an orbital bombardment at some point to try to help them. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah, I mean, they're not coming out here fast enough. They're going to have the Librarian on this victory point. But I don't think they can move anyone close enough to either the bottom or the middle victory point in time. Assault Wings jump in, but it's a moot point. This is game in favor of our red team. Gordian, Vorenthul calling the GG. That will be it. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good night.